Hello, everyone. Without a long pause in between, we will move swiftly on to our next speaker. So our next speaker is Professor Christoph Hartmann from Nestlé Research. Christoph is head of academic alliances here at Nestlé Research, and he will be speaking about the expert career path at Nestlé R&D. So without further hesitation, I would like to invite Christoph onto the stage.
Hello, Christopher.
Hello, Christoph. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent.
I hope you are feeling good as well, but you at least you look very good. So you must feel
It might be compensation. No,
yes.
I'm having a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yes, already very interesting sessions there. So yeah, must be good.
I think so. Very nice. So great. I see you have an interesting presentation prepared for us. So
I hope so.
Here, I think it will fit nicely. So Christoph, if you're ready, I would like to give the floor to you, and I will be listening with attention.
Okay, I'm ready to go. The floor is mine. Okay, so then, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm extremely pleased to be with you today. I was very much surprised how many people are online, and it's great to have this opportunity to present to you a little bit about the Nestlé subject matter career path, and also about myself, who I am actually, and how I act myself as an expert on this career path. Yeah? So a very quick look onto my biography. This is very quick because I will take it as a subject later on. So by training, I'm a mechanical engineer. I have a PhD in computational fluid dynamics, and I had then a pretty short but intensive experience in the automotive industry, like every good mechanical engineer, of course. Yeah, but then went back to academia, did my habilitation in biomechanics in Munich. Habilitation means essentially you qualify to become a professor in academia one day. And then shortly after, I had the opportunity to move to Cairo in Egypt to become their professor in material science at the German University in Cairo. But then since 2006, actually, I work for Nestlé Research and Development in various roles. Started as a scientist, then moved on to team leader and department manager positions. I had assignments also in Switzerland and in China. Today, I have a more strategic role, which is actually strategic partnerships with universities, so academic alliances, and also internal expert networks. And in my night job, I'm also scientifically active still as a Nestlé R&D senior expert. And this term is important. We'll hear about more about this in a minute. Yeah, and I would say my playground is there somewhere between food material science and actually the biophysics of sensory perception. So everything which is every biophysical phenomenon which is underlying the sensory perception when you eat and break down food in your mouth. Yeah? And since 2019, actually, I was given, or let's say, given an honorary professorship at Technische Universität of Berlin. That is also very important for me and for my career and for Nestlé as well. So that's in a nutshell me. And now I'll talk for quite a while about the Nestlé R&D career path before I talk again about me as a Nestlé expert. Okay? Good. I think it's important. I will not bore you with too much corporate content, but I think it's important that you put into context what it means, a subject matter expert career path in a big corporate organization. So this is Nestlé at a glance. The essential important figures are that we have about 84 billion Swiss francs sales turnover per year, yeah, and we are 273,000 employees in Nestlé worldwide. Yeah, our most famous brands are Nespresso, Nescafé, Purina, Maggi, KitKat, San Pellegrino, Coffee Mate, and maybe a few of you might also know Illuma, which is a premium, super premium infant formula, which we notably sell in Asia. But these are only a few brands. Overall, we have more than 2,000, more local brands. Good. So in this 273,000 employees, there is embedded an R&D organization, research and development. There we are 4,200. So out of the 273,000, 4,200 are research and development staff. Yeah? And we have 22 R&D locations across the four continents, actually. So from the Americas to Europe, Asia, and also South America. We publish annually about 300 peer-reviewed publications, and we file 200 patent applications. Now, remember, I was talking about our overall turnovers, 86 billion Swiss francs. Our research and development budget annually is 1.7 billion, which is 2%. This is rather at the high end of the food and beverage industry. Yeah? So normally you have below 2% investment in R&D. On the other side, in the pharmaceutical, here I'm a little bit jealous with my colleagues who presented already. You know, the investment should be rather about 10% or even more, 10 to 20%. Yeah, so in food and beverage is less, but it's still it's the biggest one actually in the food and beverages world as a single corporate entity. Yeah. Good. This being said, now let's talk about the career path in Nestlé research and development. Yeah, so I talk now only for this group of 4,200 people. So we have actually a triple career path. The classical one is obviously the line management career path, which goes from the R&D associate specialist level to the CTO. Yeah. And so R&D associate specialist level is typically the level that you have after your Master of Science, after your PhD, you join Nestlé. This is typically where you are located. You know, you are recruited as an R&D associate specialist. Yeah? And then you perform, and then you are promoted. You become an R&D specialist, and then you become an R&D senior specialist. And suddenly, there you need a little bit to think about your future, on which career path you want to engage. Yeah, there is now the possibility to stay on the line management career path. There's the possibility to go on something like what we call the project management career path. I will not talk about this, and then there we have the expert career path. Yeah? And why do we have this expert career path? Actually, we are pretty proud about that because it's still not super common. There are other corporate entities who have such career paths, but it's not very common. We have put this in place because we understood that, not everybody qualifies as a line manager, and not everybody wants to be a line manager, but everybody wants to do a career, wants to see a progression in his or her professional life in terms of, impact, in terms of challenges, in terms of personal development, and last not least, in terms of salary. Yeah? So the idea is that, in a high-performing research and development organization, we rely on world-class experts that excel in their competence areas. Yeah? And therefore, we have put in place a few years ago, it's not too long ago, we have formalized this Nestlé R&D expert career path to reward expertise and excellence in science and technology, to offer a structured career progression with a title and with a salary which comes along with it, based on well-defined criteria. And because we have these well-defined criteria, also actually towards which qualification level you need to develop in your, if today I'm an R&D expert, I know the requirements for an R&D senior expert because this is documented, the criteria are public, so to say, internally. And I know what kind of qualification I need to develop to be one day eligible as an R&D senior expert. Yeah? And of course, we did this also to attract talents from outside, because it is not very obvious, at a later stage in a career to join a corporate entity like Nestlé and to immediately enter on the line management career path, because you need to know a lot about, people management and more and nearly about also stakeholder management, engaging with business. It is very difficult to learn that on the job. So we have very many experienced people that enter on the expert career path, pursue in the expert career path, but then sometimes also engage on the line management, depending on qualification, performance, and also interest, mutual interest. Yeah? So the last point is already said. Yes, there is a lateral evolution, but of course, the more you advance on your individual career path, the less is it likely that you still make a transversal move, because you become highly qualified in your area of people and business manager, or here of subject matter expertise, and then to switch. It is possible here you see here in the first three levels, we have actually no differentiation. all of those people are supposed to lead, to be subject matter expert, and also to be able to manage projects. But then the more you become senior, the more you need to differentiate. Okay, good. So, but now what makes an R&D expert up? Notably, I would say an industry R&D expert. Yeah? And we have put in place this scheme here. We call it the expert equation. Yeah. And you can read it from the right hand or from the left hand. Let me start from the left hand. It's first of all, it's about expertise. So you need to demonstrate that you have a certain level of a certain proficiency of expertise in science and technology. Yeah. So it means that also some areas of expertise which are not science and technology are not qualified for this career path. Yeah. Therefore, we have other career paths open for them. But for those who are in science and technology, this is the career path to qualify for. And your level of proficiency is usually to be proven, to be demonstrated. And we do this through, let's say, publication records, patent records, standards, internal standards that you as an expert have defined or co-created, trainings that you have given to more junior people, and so on. So you show actually to your stakeholders in the company that you have a certain proficiency and that you are a world-leading internal and external expert. Yeah? And it is also important that we read basically from the evolution of your expertise that you have a lifelong competence development. It doesn't help if you suddenly on somewhere at this point, somewhere on your, let's say, a career, yeah, let's say at an R&D expert level, you say, oh yes, great, now I'm an R&D expert, now I lay back and I will wait for retirement. This will not happen, yeah? Because either you drop into underperformance or you continue a lifelong competence development. But frankly, most of the scientists, they are driven by the content and they will pursue it. Yeah? Second important characteristic in industry is leadership. Yeah. So why leadership? Because, well, there are multiple facets here of leadership. Yeah. And you see the list is even longer than for expertise. Why do you need leadership? Well, you are the entrepreneur and you are the leader of your competence area. Yeah, especially at these levels, pretty high levels of expert, senior expert fellows that we have in Nestlé. So you are supposed to apply your expertise to business problems. Yeah. So it does not help just to grow your expertise and to tell everybody how proficient you are in this area, but you need also to apply your expertise to business problems or business opportunities. Yeah. So it means that I need to apply my expertise to a problem that helps our business, to a problem to solve that helps our business to grow, to sell more products, and to increase turnover. That's the expectation. Yeah? Very simply, as an industry researcher, you need always to pursue a business goal ultimately as well. Yeah? So, but then not enough that you have this entrepreneur mindset that let's say, you tackle problems in order to help the business to grow. You're also supposed to be a thought leader in your area of expertise, yeah, because yes, we have line management, we have department managers, we have a chief technology officer who is very visionary, but you're in your competence area, which is a smaller turf, so to say. You need to be there, a pioneer and a thought leader, and tell to the leaders, we need to do this. This is the expectation. Yeah. So the leaders expect actually from the experts leadership as well. Yeah. Needless to say, the more senior you are as a subject matter expert, you should also convey your knowledge to the other parts of the organization, notably to more junior specialists. Yeah. So obviously, sorry, let me go just back to this slide. Yeah, obviously, if I'm a senior expert, I'm supposed to convey my knowledge to people who are maybe at this level of the career or at this level of the R&D expert. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, because individual knowledge is very, how to say, sensitive. It is, it might happen that, for some reason I need to move on to a different position, or I need to leave the company, or I'm getting sick. I need to go on sick leave for a long time, and then suddenly my expertise is not available anymore. Therefore, it is important to convey this to the rest of the organization, and we do this through R&D knowledge networks, which I talk about in a minute. Yeah. So again, on the leadership, it is of course then important that you are also able to enter into a dialogue with senior leaders, very knowledgeable, strong personalities who might challenge what we are doing in a certain competence area, might challenge also how we do things. And then you need to speak up. You need to say, okay, in my knowledge area, I believe we need to do this for that and that and that reason. And when you can speak with credibility and authority, you are believed, you are recognized, and senior leaders are super grateful for your impact there. Yeah, because through this, let's say, raising your voice and telling your opinion, your fact-based opinion, will inform corporate strategies and decisions. Yeah. Needless to say that, of course, your expertise should somehow be relevant to the company. Yeah. So now Nestlé is in the food and beverage world. Yeah. Now, if my early expertise is about the aerodynamics of airplanes, it will not help at either I switch my expertise or I develop my expertise towards food and beverage to become relevant for the company, or at one point, there is a mismatch. My expertise might be deep and proficient, I might have leadership, but it's not relevant in the company. And this might happen very quickly. For example, I think I can give this example. In 2012, we bought a business division, which we called at that time Nestlé Skin Health. So suddenly we needed a lot of experts on skin, human skin, and treatment of diseases of the skin, and general treatments for skin. And in 2018 or 19, we sold off the company again because it didn't just simply work with Nestlé. Yeah. So suddenly, then, of course, from one day you are expert on skin health to the other day you are not relevant for the company anymore. So this is a little bit where you need to, as expert on the subject matter career path, you need to watch out a little bit what happens. Yeah? And ultimately, if you have fulfill all these characteristics, you are relevant for the company, you have proficient expertise, but you also apply your expertise to business problems, you make impact. How do you measure your impact? Well, it's very simple in Nestlé. We measure impact in terms of contribution to new product launches, in contributions to problem solvings. Sometimes there are problems in our operations, and then we need to solve technical problems, of course. Yeah, so we need to solve them, and experts are there, highly solicited. And then, of course, also in the area of efficiency increase. Yeah. So so how do you become an expert? Yeah, so in Nestlé, it goes actually through a nomination process. I do not here lay out the process too much. First, you compile a personal dossier, so it's basically a very comprehensive application, so to say, comprehensive CV, which reports on all these 4 characteristics here as a basis for an evaluation, and this evaluation is done by an independent internal committee, and this internal committee will give a recommendation to the CTO whether yes or no to nominate such a person expert, senior expert, or even fellow. Yeah? So these are the 3 levels I talked about. After differentiation, you have the R&D expert level, the senior expert level, and the fellow level. I will not go through the details here because otherwise, it will get a little bit too long. But essentially, you see here, I would say the R&D expert has impact typically at his or her R&D unit level, means in his or her business category, such as, for example, in the beverage category or in the pet care category or in the dairy product category. Yeah, we expect an internal recognition as thought leader. Yes, other peers and other stakeholders would say, yes, this person is definitely pioneering new ideas, is thought leader, is influencing decisions, and so on. And then if you go to the other extreme, fellow, at least 15 years of international experience in R&D, we expect from such a person to be actually part of the decision-making process, not only to inform and influence, but participate in corporate decisions, be a recognized leader internally and in external expert communities, and to engage as stakeholders, for example, with government representatives, NGOs, KOLs, credibly. Yeah? Good. So now these individual experts, they are also organized in what we call knowledge networks. Yeah, this is our, let's say, means to translate individual expertise to organizational expertise. Yeah, so we have actually 20 knowledge networks. You see them listed here. Yeah, They are communities of practitioners. They are distributed. These are virtual teams, distributed across the globe, across our 22 centers. And they allow actually to connect practitioners across all R&D sites. So if I'm an expert in proteins, well, no matter where I sit, if I sit in Beijing or in South America and Chile, or now in our research center in Lausanne, it doesn't matter. I can connect to this community of practitioners, and I can learn and develop myself in the frame of, and learn from these colleagues and develop myself, basically. And experts and senior experts, they are supposed to set the strategies in this area. They are supposed to contribute to the hard skill people development. And you see also they are approximately representing across all those knowledge networks with certain heterogeneity, of course, about 15% of the affiliates. So they are the thought leaders in their community of the knowledge networks. Good. So it's about phases of industry research. So I show you some more phases beside mine. These are experts. We have them. They are very different. No expert is like the other. So we have experts that are more in what we call discover, so fundamental research. Then we have experts that are rather in the develop area, new product development, new technology, process technology development. And then we have people who take care of deployment of these new technologies into the factories, right? And then you see very heterogeneous, individual profiles, like, for example, Ishmet. He is actually a culinary chef in India, very influential on our culinary product development. We have Norbert here in the research center, who is an expert on applied glycobiology, and informing here product developments in infant formula. And then we have more, I would say, product and process people like Georg, process engineering, highly recognized powder processing technology expert internally and externally. And more on the deployment side, just to mention Xavier here. So he is able to apply advanced process control over a set of several unit operations, over a whole factory almost. And this advanced process control gives optimization and therefore cost reduction. So does it work for Nestlé? Individually, it means a lot to the individuals as being nominated as expert, senior expert, fellow. It gives a role and an identity. So people carry this on their business card. I'm senior expert in Nestlé. Usually they would work as team members in any kind of team. So they have no hierarchical position, and they are not the department head or the group leader or something. They are expert. But they have, let's say, the recognition of the organization, role and identity, and of course also responsibilities and objectives, which are pretty high. So it gives a recognition and reward. It's for transparent career progression. If I tell you let's say if I tell my colleagues I'm a senior expert, they almost know my salary. It gives opportunity for personal development, and of course increases also employability. If I apply outside, I say, I'm a Nestlé senior expert, and I tell them what it means. It certainly helps me to get on a new job if I want it. And then organizational, yes, of course, it gives also my line manager opportunity to give me development targets. Christoph, you are a senior expert. This is what it takes to become fellow. And then I can actually engage on this development path to do it. And then, we are also role models for younger scientists, of course. And this also generates a certain attractivity for external talents to join us. And so there are a number of benefits. Now, quickly back to me. I was also asked to give a little bit of insights, how I made career decisions. And I will try to answer this. So again, very quickly, mechanical engineering, computational fluid dynamics, automotive industry, up to here, very classical mechanical engineering path. German mechanical engineers. But then I got opportunity to go into academia again, went on academia, but then again, abrupt change, went back to industry, but in a completely different industry. And I'm still there, and I reconnect with academia at a pretty late stage in my career. How did this happen? So you see this is the same list, let's say, of career steps. So first, why mechanical engineering? Well, first of all, there was a dream, but also reality. My dream was to become a pilot and I still say this with a certain nostalgia, so to say. I could not become a pilot because my eyes are very bad. I cannot see. I need to wear very specially customized contact lenses and so on. So I couldn't become a pilot. And my parents told me, you need to pursue something which gives you a job at the end. So, well, okay, it was mechanical engineering. I did not so much enjoy the nuts and bolts story there, but I enjoyed very, very much fluid dynamics. I found this, I fell really in love because of the math to do there, the experiment, the beauty of flow fields also, I need to say, yeah. So I developed a genuine interest for fluid dynamics, and of course, then you do your PhD in fluid dynamics, yeah. And then, okay, I had already at that point, you know, during my PhD, my supervisor told me, well, you might go to academia, you can qualify for professor, it's great, and so on. But I felt like, no, academia is too narrow. Engineers need to go to industry. Yeah, so it was like an internal feeling and a motivation to broaden and open up. Yeah? So that's what I did. But then I had a single lifetime opportunity to go back to academia. Again, I got a call from a professor. I know you, please join my team. And I discussed with my wife. My wife told me, well, it's now or never. And it was at the right moment to do that. So I went on this habilitation scheme in Germany in biomechanics. So bringing the mechanical engineering experience, applying it to the food and nutrition world. Great. So then as I told you, I got married and married to a French, and then you have also family objectives. Yeah? So with a German habilitation, you qualify for German professorship, and you move to the next best position open as a German professor, and you stay there at least for 20 years, and then you might you might change once still, but you stay within Germany. And my wife said to me, better not. Let's, I don't want to stay my whole life in Germany. We need to move, and my plan is your plan, but we need to also to have the opportunity to move on. So this is why we all together, with very young children, we moved to Cairo in Egypt, and I took on this professorship in the German university. But at the same time, I had already projects ongoing with Nestlé R&D, and I said, wow, this is a great place, great work environment. And then suddenly I had the opportunity to join Nestlé, and I went. So it was then for me basically a very good conversion of professional and family goals, because I could continue my career as a scientist, and at the same time, we had this geographical mobility still active. Moving around the world and being able to move within Nestlé also around the world. Which happened that later. And then, of course, as you carry on in your career, of course, you are not as free as an academic, let's say, as a professor in deciding your day, what kind of research you do and what kind of topic you take on or not. You need to comply basically to the corporate needs and moves. But I think, what happened to me to work out quite well is I tried also to become a stereotype of the perfect line manager or the perfect corporate employee with all skills and none. So I tried always to be authentic in myself. And even at a very mature stage of my career, I needed to reflect back and needed to find out, okay, what am I at best at? And and that led me actually to my personal conviction that for me it was very important to stay on this hard skill career path, hard skill subject matter expert, and not, although I qualified for that and I practice it, not to stay for too long on the line management career path. And it works very well for me. And finally, with this recent, let's say, additional job at TU Berlin, which is more teaching and research, fundamental research side activity, I found finally that my career also converges. So now I have basically two roles. I have the corporate role, I have an academic role, and it suits very well to me. And I hope I can continue like this for quite some time. So with this, I would like to thank you, and I look forward to questions. I hope I was not too long. I tend to be a little bit talkative and extrovert when it comes about such passionate questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christoph. It was a fantastic presentation. And indeed, exactly this interface academic industry is what this event is all about. So it was very, very nice. We have one quick question before the coffee break from the audience. And that is, how easy is it for a fresh PhD student, meaning no industry experience, to gain recognition as an expert in the industrial context in the corporate world?
Well, so now in my terminology, you know, as a freshly qualified PhD student, you are not expert, right? You join the company, you build your internal brand equity, let it call your reputation as a subject matter expert. But you know, everybody will see that you are relatively new to the position, you are new on the job, and you need to simply to perform in projects. You need to perform. You need to have built your own performance record over a few years, until that you are at the level where we would apply the so-called expert title. And you saw it, I think, from the specification, from the 3 columns I've shown between expert, senior expert, and fellow. Even for expert level, it requires 5 to 7 years experience and good performance on as a specialist in our environment, in our R&D organization. Yeah. So it takes the time, and you need to perform on projects, and you need to further build your expertise. Yeah, as a PhD, you are very qualified, you are very specialized, but then you need to build your expertise further and apply it to business problems, and you are measured as based on your objectives, on your performance, and if that's all works well, one day you will be able to qualify for this kind of level. These are pretty high levels. Huh? If I talk about experts, senior expert, and fellows, we talk about salary grades which have, let's say, a frequency of 5% throughout the organization. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's not so many, and now of course there are also 5 to 10% line management. They are equal level of those line managements, and it's a long way. And well, yeah, you see, yeah.
It's good to be ambitious. That's
yes.
for sure.
Yeah. But it's also exciting and very fulfilling. You know, if you have this, you can define such a goal and you can work against this goal. It's very exciting and fulfilling, and you know, if you like learning, that's the way to move on in your career. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Christoph, for the good talk, and thank you for your insights. For all the participants, I would like to remind you once again that at 1 p.m. we have the speaker sessions where you can have a close-up and personal discussion with the speakers and ask any remaining questions you may have. Once again, Christoph, thank you very much, and happy to see you again after lunch.
Likewise, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the session. Yeah.
Great. Bye-bye. All right, everyone, we're a little behind schedule, but we will take a 10-minute coffee break so that we all have a chance to recover. And we will see you again after the break. Thank you very much.